Startup costs for both Shopify and Etsy dropshipping. So this is a question I get a hell of a lot of the time because obviously on this channel, I talk about both kind of Shopify dropshipping a little bit, talk about Shopify branding, like branded stores. And then I also talk about Etsy dropshipping. So we'll come back to the branded stores in a later video, or maybe the end of this video, we'll decide. But Shopify dropshipping costs and Etsy dropshipping costs to start up. How do they compare? So with Shopify dropshipping, typically you're gonna need around $1,000 to $3,000. Really test your product, really get them up and running. And if you're a complete beginner, that's gonna kind of give you a bit of traction to kind of figure stuff out. That's not even I will say is like, be prepared to spend $3,000 because it's hard. Like, it is hard because you've got to build the entire website, which is a whole new skill. You've got to do all the advertisements and you've got to build the video creatives, or you pay someone else. But if you pay someone else, you've got to figure out, is that a good one or is that a shit one? You know, you've got to figure out all that stuff, and it's quite fucking difficult, to be honest. It's not the easiest thing in the world. So $1,000 to $3,000 and a good amount of your time. So with the Etsy side of things, it does have negatives compared to Shopify. There are certain negatives, which we'll go over in a second, but you're gonna need $300 maximum to really get it going. Do you spend more than $300, you have done something drastically wrong. Like, it's genuinely hard to spend more than $300 and not have made your money back. It's genuinely hard. So $300, and it's gonna take a lot less time because you're listing on their platform. You don't have to build your whole website. You don't have to worry about all that stuff. You don't have to do video creatives or photo creative. It's very simple in terms of actually what are you doing. Very simple. So I was gonna say, I was mentioning the cons, the pros and cons, right? Pros and cons, Shopify dropshipping versus Etsy dropshipping. So Shopify dropshipping, the main cons are it's expensive and it has a high risk of not working, in my opinion. High risk of not working. And it's quite a big, well, I said cost, risk, time commitment as well. There you go, time commitment. And it's kind of big ups and downs, right? But the positives of Shopify dropshipping is if you figure it out, you can scale it quickly. So if you do get it, you can go quickly, right? Like right now, if I was to go back and do Shopify dropshipping, with the knowledge I have of almost doing like 7 figures with pure Shopify dropshipping stores that I never transitioned over to bulk stock, I think I could go and do 20K a day in maybe 2.5 weeks if the product was really, really good. Maybe 10K a day. But my point is, I can scale very fast, like very fast. Whereas Etsy dropshipping, you can't do that. It's much more of a slower burning thing, but you can set up a bunch more stores because they're less maintenance. You don't need so much focus on all the stores. You can kind of let them be, hire some employees here and there. But anyways, so the cons and the pros of Etsy are its low startup costs, low time investment, and you can kind of remove yourself a lot from the operations because it's quite consistent when you get it up and going. Stores will stay at a good level and there won't be no big ups and big downs. Your stores will be okay. I suppose the other main problems with Etsy are you can't scale that high with a store that quickly, right? Like if you want to do like 10K days, it's going to take you a couple months to get to that point if you're very experienced and you have very good products. Like, it's not a list of product and 2 weeks time you're doing 10K days. That's just never gonna happen. Never gonna happen unless it's like 1 in a billion product. Okay, so well, not 1 in a million product. That's not gonna happen 10K day. But in maybe 6 months time you can do that and it'll stay more consistent and it'll make more money, but it's not as necessarily scalable per product than Shopify. With Shopify, you take 1 product to the moon. With Etsy, you take 100 products to the atmosphere, like just above, to the clouds. There you go. Trying to use geography shit, but I don't. Geography, space knowledge, science. There you go, science. That's the one. Geography. Fuck's sake.